My name is Sarah, and I'm 28 years old. I have two little stars in my life, Emma, who is 7, and Liam, who just turned 5. Every night, as they cuddle under warm blankets and the moonlight peeks through the curtains, I tell them stories. But tonight is special. I take a deep breath and say, "Tonight, I'll tell you about someone very close to us, someone who was fearless, strong, and kind, someone you both know as Grandpa." The kids look at me, their eyes glowing with curiosity. Emma tugs at my sleeve. "Grandpa? You mean our grandpa who tells funny stories?" I nod. "Yes, sweetheart. But before he became the grandpa you know, he lived an incredible life. A life full of danger and courage. Let me tell you about it." I pause for a moment. It's not easy to start. How do you explain the war, fear, and strength to such young hearts? Many years ago, when Grandpa was a young man, he lived in a faraway land called Finland. It was a time when the world wasn't peaceful like it is now. There was a big war, and bad people were trying to take over everything. Grandpa lived alone in the forest, away from everyone. He was digging for gold. Gold? Liam's eyes widen. Like treasure. Yes, just like treasure, I reply. Grandpa was searching for gold to make his life better, but one day, while he was working quietly, he saw something terrible. A group of soldiers came to his land. They were mean, and they didn't care about anyone's life. They only wanted to destroy and take what didn't belong to them. I glance at the kids. Emma is hugging her pillow, and Liam looks serious. Grandpa could have run away. He could have hidden deep in the forest and let them do what they wanted. But you know what he did? What? They ask together, their voices almost whispers. He decided to fight back. He was just one man, but he was determined to protect what was his. He didn't have big weapons or a big army. All he had was his courage and his brain. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the story. The soldiers found Grandpa's gold. They thought he was just an old man, someone who wouldn't fight back. But Grandpa surprised them. He was like a lion, fearless and strong. He tricked them, he fought them, and he never gave up. Liam sits up straight. "Did he win, Mama? Did Grandpa beat them?" I smile softly. "It wasn't easy, Liam. The soldiers were many, and Grandpa was alone. But he knew the forest like the back of his hand. He set traps, he hid in places they couldn't find, and he always stayed one step ahead of them. He was very clever." I see Emma frowning a little. "But wasn't he scared, Mama?" she asks. I nod. "Oh, yes, Emma. Grandpa was very scared. But being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do what's right, even when you're scared. And that's what Grandpa did." The room feels quiet for a moment as I let the words sink in. I look at their tiny faces, so full of wonder and innocence. Grandpa kept fighting for days. He didn't stop. even when he was tired and hurt. He knew he had to protect his gold, his land, and his dream for a better life. And in the end, do you know what happened? What happened? They both ask, their voices eager. A didn't let those soldiers take what was his. He sent them away and he kept his gold safe. But more than that, he showed them that one brave heart can be stronger than a whole army. Liam claps his hands. Grandpa is a hero. I laugh softly. Yes, Liam, he is. And that's why we must always remember his story. It's not just about being strong. It's about believing in yourself, no matter how big the challenge is. Emma leans her head on my arm. I want to be brave like Grandpa. You already are, my darling, I say, kissing her forehead. As I tuck them into bed, I whisper, this is just the beginning. Tomorrow I'll tell you more about Grandpa's journey. There's so much more to learn from him. The kids close their eyes, their faces peaceful. I sit by the window, looking at the stars. Grandpa's story isn't just a tale for them. It's a reminder for me too. A reminder that courage can light up even the darkest nights. The next evening, as the kids snuggled close to me, their eyes sparkled with excitement. They couldn't wait to hear the rest of the story. Emma was the first to speak. Mama, what happened after Grandpa won? Did he live happily ever after? I smiled and shook my head softly. Not yet, my love. That was just the beginning. You see, after Grandpa scared away those soldiers, he thought it was over. He thought he could live peacefully in the forest and protect his gold. But those bad men didn't give up so easily. Liam frowned. They came back? Yes, I replied. And this time they brought more men. Big trucks, loud weapons, and even a leader who was very dangerous. His name was Commander Reinhardt. He was cruel and powerful, and he didn't like losing. He wanted to find Grandpa and take everything he had. Emma clutched my hand. What did Grandpa do? Was he scared again? I looked into her wide eyes and said gently, Of course, Emma. He was scared. But remember, being scared didn't stop him. Grandpa knew the forest better than anyone. He set more traps, stayed hidden, and used his cleverness to outsmart them. But this time, it wasn't just about protecting the gold. It was about survival. Emma clutched my hand, and without Liam sat up straighter, his small fists clenched. Did he fight them again, Mama? Oh, yes, I said, my voice soft but steady. He fought them like a true warrior. Grandpa didn't have fancy weapons, but he had his tools and his instincts. He used the forest to his advantage. He climbed trees, crossed rivers, and even hid under the ground to stay safe. And do you know what kept him going? The kids shook their heads. Hope, I whispered. Hope that one day the bad men would leave. Hope that he could live a life where no one would take what was his. And hope is a very powerful thing. Emma smiled faintly. Like magic? I nodded. Yes, Emma, like magic, but even magic doesn't make things easy. One day, the soldiers caught Grandpa. They tied him up and tried to force him to tell them where the gold was. But Grandpa was so strong, not just in his body, but in his heart. He didn't say a word. Liam gasped. What did they do to him? I took a deep breath. They hurt him, Liam. They wanted to break his spirit, but Grandpa didn't let them win. He waited, and when the time was right, he escaped. He was tired and hurt, but he kept going. And do you know what gave him the strength? What? They both asked, leaning closer. Love, I said with a warm smile. Love for his family, love for his dream, and love for his freedom. He didn't want to give up because he knew he was fighting for something bigger than himself. The kids were quiet for a moment, processing my words. Then Emma spoke softly. Did Grandpa win in the end? I nodded, my heart full. Yes, my love. Grandpa didn't just win the battle. He won his freedom. The bad men left, and they never came back. Grandpa was finally safe, and he kept the gold he worked so hard to find. But more than that, he kept his pride and his courage. And that, my darlings, is worth more than all the gold in the world. Liam grinned. Grandpa is the best, I laughed, pulling them into a hug. He truly is. And do you know what he always says to me when I feel scared or unsure? They both looked at me, waiting. He says, bravery isn't about being fearless. It's about standing tall, even when fear tries to pull you down. Emma rested her head on my shoulder. I want to be brave like Grandpa when I grow up. You already are, Emma, I said, kissing her head. And you too, Liam. Bravery runs in our family. As I tucked them into bed, Liam asked, Mama, do you think Grandpa is still brave now? I smiled. Oh, Liam, Grandpa may not fight battles anymore, but bravery never leaves a person. It's always there, deep in their heart. And one day, you'll both grow up and find your own ways to be brave, just like Grandpa. The kids closed their eyes, peaceful and happy. I stayed by their side for a while, thinking about my father. His story wasn't just one of survival. It was a lesson for all of us to believe in ourselves, to stand up for what's right, and to never let fear win. Outside the window, the stars twinkled brightly, as if honoring the memory of a man who showed the world what it truly means to be brave. If you liked my story, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next story.